Hi everyone, it's Victoria, the Soul Nurturer. I've been sitting with what topic to bring forward, and oftentimes I select a topic based on what I'm experiencing, what I'm noticing, what I'm observing, or what my clients are telling me they're experiencing or having challenges with. So collectively, I would say there's a lot of, during this transformational cycle, and I want to just keep emphasizing this, we are in an incredible transformational cycle, an incredible opportunity, if you would like to call it that, for things that are trying to shift, change, bring in new possibilities. And we're all kind of in this collective ocean of shifting and changing, and the currents are going in all kinds of directions in order to get us to that new shore together, I guess. And I think that is what I want to speak to, the feeling of the separateness and the division and the, points of views that can feel very different than ours. And I personally have struggled with this, and I've gone many different ways with this, and I still every day have to check in, where am I with this? Especially being on Facebook, where am I with this? What do I believe about this? And seeing all these very, very different point of views, and noticing when I would get triggered. Now what I like to say is, there's a lot of stuff going on in the external that is opening up and triggering us on the internal, and that is our true work. So when we find ourselves triggered and bothered by something someone's posting or some point of view that is not in accord with ours, first we need to take personal responsibility for our inner environment, our triggering, our whatever's arising, and work there. It's important. Not to say there isn't a place for righteous anger and standing up for what you believe in a fervent way. But this is my path. This is my journey. If you're watching my channel, then I suspect this is your path and your journey too. It is a journey of unfolding and transformation, and we can only do that when we take personal responsibility for us. This inner environment that is getting rocked and shaken up by what's happening in the world, as our world is getting shaken up. It's like a time right now of all the things that have been, things that we counted on are being rocked and shattered and shaken, so that we can rebuild on solid ground individually and collectively. It reminds me of a message I got in a vision quest a while back now. I think it was 8 years ago. I was in my vision quest, and if you haven't done a vision quest, I highly recommend doing one. My husband offers them through Tribal Edge. Incredible experience. Basically, this won't do it justice, but I'll just tell you in a nutshell. Basically, you are fasting for 4 days and 4 nights out in the woods. And the point of it is to take away all distractions so you can be present to Creator and your soul. And it's quite profound. And anyway, in this particular vision quest, I kept seeing a washer machine just kind of in this cycle, and I was curious about that. And I was, when you're in a vision quest, your mind goes all over the place, and you have to call yourself back. It's like an ongoing meditation for 4 days. So call yourself back to the present moment, to the present experience. But this washing machine kept coming. And then I heard the word agitation, actually 2 words, agitation cycle. So at first I thought, oh, did I forget to do laundry? Do I have to do laundry when I get back? Call myself back. What is this? What does this mean? What is being shown here? And then I heard agitation cycle. Okay. More curiosity, and it kept coming back until I got this sense of what's coming for me, for all of us, is a time, a transformational cycle where we're going to be in this agitation cycle, like being in the washing machine, right? What happens in the agitation cycle of the washing machine? All of that deep dirt and debris and soil, and that's being laundered out, gets agitated to be released. Well, I think that's what's going on with us all right now. Anybody out there agitated? Anybody else feel like you're being spun around and getting, you know, even if you feel calm and then you go on Facebook and then your head spins because of some comment someone's making that's not in alignment with your views, your way of seeing the world. So we are in a collective, it's like an identity crisis, you know. It's, yes, Caroline Myss called it a long time ago when she said we were in a collective dark night of the soul. Indeed. Dark night of the souls reveal the shadow underbelly of our being and those that we share the world with, and in our society, in our communities, in our foundations, the structures that are built on, the shadow side of that. And actually, I think it was Andrew Harvey that called it a dark night of the soul. So dark night of the soul, collective transformation, with all of the layering out from there, collective grief, feeling our sadness, sorrow for what is, what was, no longer here. And really, quite frankly, this, we've got a lot to work with, a lot of healing to do, right? In so many ways, anywhere you look, right? So this collective agitation cycle is rocking the core of our being and the core of our foundations that all structures are built on. Our government, our beliefs, collective agreements, all of it. So yes, we're being agitated for the purpose of releasing that stuff, or looking at that ugliness, or looking at what's not working so we can make different choices. Now, the tricky part here, right, is we can get really fixed on what we think is right, how it should be, because this is what works for us. And that's where we're all like, it feels like, again, like this ocean of cross currents where we're kind of getting caught in a rip current, where we're trying to swim to shore and this current's taking us further away from that possibility. And then these various currents, this way, no, this is the right way, no, this is what you should believe, and why aren't you thinking this? And it can feel very challenging, especially because we begin to forget the core of our being and the core of others' beings. Others' beings? Okay, it's hard to say. The essence of each other. We are not our opinions. We are not our beliefs. We are not what we're seeing in the world. Especially, I know that, and I've experienced this too, experiencing people that I know the essence of their being is love, and yet I'm witnessing them making choices that in my human being self, I can judge and be confused by, not understand, and actually oftentimes feel angry, frustrated. How can they have that point of view? How could they be supporting that person? And I was stuck there for a while, and I did try to reach out to people that I thought we could have a conversation and help me understand what you're seeing, what you're believing. And those conversations didn't go far. Like, I could just see that they were just really, really not going to budge on their point of view, not going to budge on what news program they were watching, or how they're getting their information, or how they're getting their news. And I could feel myself in judgment. Like, how can I change you? Well, we can't change other people. We can only take it back to ourselves. So I'm going off in many different tangents. There's so many layers here because this is very deep transformational work we're in. For me, what I try to do, not always expert at it, not always following my own advice. I try the best I can, but you know, there are days when I'm frustrated and I'm just frustrated. But what I try to do is ask myself what I'm noticing in the other person. This is shadow work, where they appear stuck in their position, they appear rigid, they appear judgmental, to reflect back that to me. Where am I rigid in my thinking? Where am I stuck in my point of view? Where am I not willing to see what they see? Okay. And with people, you know, for me, yes, quite frankly, I do get quite triggered by the person in the White House. Lots to work with, right? So where am I? I'm sorry, itchy allergy eyes today. And again, I don't mean this to be political. I'm just sharing my inner experience and sharing with you how I work. But for me, this person in the White House provides me with so much information to look into my shadow, where, from what I witness and whatever we witness in others. There's a saying that, I don't know if it was Jung that had this percentage. I don't know the origin, but this is Jung's theory of projection anyway. We can only witness the world based out of our own interpretations, our own associations, our own references, and we're projecting it out into the world. So my projections of the person in the White House, I'm sorry if I offend anybody by not saying the president. I'm doing my work, trust me. Where am I a bully? Where do I have a big ego? Where do I get, what do I witness? I see a lot that I'm like, that really, it makes me, I feel sadness that this is our representative for our country, but I also have to look at where is that in me. This retaliatory kind of energy and the mocking and seemingly putting down less advantaged people, and childish. So where's all that in me? You know, this is how I'm trying to work with what is in the world. That's my personal choice. And actually it's a good work for all of us if we were willing to do that. So that's aside, that's shadow work. Maybe I'll do another video just on shadow work, because it's a very deep conversation. But what I want to get to, because somebody suggested a video for me that I thought, you know, I really can't address that. The request was to talk about getting back to work and socializing once, you know, we're out of quarantine. That is, I said, you know, I don't really feel like that's an area that I can address. For me, that is going to be personal choice and following guidelines. But what I can speak to is what I've noticed is how will we do that based on so many various opinions and beliefs that this is the right way, right? So what's that about? This is the right way and this is the only way. Here's all I can say about that, because I'm work with beliefs and patterns and the subconscious mind and the human mind. So all I can say about that is everyone is making their choices based on what they believe is meeting their needs and in alignment with their values. So we're all trying to get our needs met, but it's looking very different. So in this agitation cycle, what the invitation is to look at what you need to release to be able to see clearly. In the agitation cycle, in this transformational cycle, there's going to be a choice point of keep doing it the old way or do it a new way. And that will be first individually. What is it like for you individually? Old way, new way. What are the possibilities of a new way? And is there a way to move in a different direction, still meeting your needs and values, but in a way, perhaps, and this is maybe a stretch, but I'm going to say it because this is also, I believe that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and as such, we need to address the spiritual values and the fact that we're all in this together. We are in this web of life together. One choice affects the other. So how can I do this in a new way that supports my needs and values and the collective and highest good of all? Now that's a stretch, right? But isn't that where we need to be visioning for and looking for and having that possibility? So back to needs and values. The other thing I want to say about this is we all need to, I almost did a should word. We all should. No shoulding here. I'll go back to just a deep, heartfelt invitation and request and encouragement that at some point, and not some point, many points in our life, anytime we're called to a transition point, and this is one, we're in a collective initiation where we must leave behind what was, and we're in that liminal space of yet to know what's going to come, and then moving into something new together. We're co-creating a collective new normal. So on our journeys in any transition point, we need to really look at, why do I believe what I believe? Is this a hand-me-down belief from my parents? Am I trying to get a need met in the best way I know and it's the only way I know? And might there be another way to get this need met that includes not just my position, but a higher perspective here, okay? The thing I think that I finally made peace with, seeing all these various individual rebellions and divisions, I finally, I just went back into my meditation practice, to tell you the truth. I was getting really pulled into the human world, the humanness of it. Just seeing through my human woundedness and my own fear. And I had to just get back into a meditation practice that allowed me, and this phrase came to me in one of my meditations, that there are many different points of view, but taking the sacred view allows you to see the higher view. For me, that allowed me to see the possibility of even people that I strongly disagreed with, where they were at and what was happening. And what I got, a couple things I got, is that everything is purposeful, even though it may feel frustrating. I mean, how cool is it that people are questioning, why do we believe this? Why do we do this? And questioning who we believe and why we believe it. I think this is all rich, purposeful work. It really is. I mean, there is this, you know, one of the divisions is follow science and the experts and follow other people. And hey, awesome. Now, do that on the inner. And what I mean by that, you're questioning. I see a lot of questioning, this person, that person, this organization, this representative. If we can take it back to questioning ourselves, this is the deeper transformational work. Why do I believe what I believe? Who told me that was accurate? And am I believing what I believe? This is the big one. From fear? Am I gripping beliefs and patterns because they feel like they keep me safe? These are questions to sit with and expand. And here's really, if I could invite you to this question. What can I believe that allows me to get my needs and values honored while expanding to see a way to include everyone's point of view? That's a big one, isn't it? I know, it's a hard one. But how can we not try to look there, right? How can we not? So my contention and my where I'm sort of stumbling forward in this conversation, I didn't really have a pre-planned where I was going to go with this. I just had a feeling of what needed to be addressed, is we need to do the inner work to get to the outer work where we can arrive to that new shore together. And that's, I know no other way. And so just, again, the invitation is where you're triggered, where you're bothered, where you see division, take it inward. Where is that connected to me? Where is this familiar? You know, again, I want to honor all. I honor all. I do. If you're frustrated with the way things are and you're protesting, I get it. But I want to invite you to say, where have I felt limited before in my life? You know, this is big stuff that we're dealing with, but it is also reflecting the big stuff that maybe we haven't looked at inside of ourselves. So where have I felt limited before, or felt like I was restricted with what I wanted to do and where my needs were not getting met? It's, you know, what's that saying? It's never about the thing you think it's about. While we could all point our fingers to this time of this collective quarantine and the, you know, all that's arising from it, we can point our fingers at it and say, he said, and this problem, and that scientist, and this person. But you know that saying too, when you point your finger, that you've got 3 fingers pointing back at you. So for each judgment, for each blame, for each frustration out there in the external, look 3 times as much back at yourself and see what you find. I promise you, is if we're willing to do this inner work, we can arrive to a new place. First here, and then on the external. So that's all I really wanted to say about that. For me, I want to choose love and acceptance no matter what. It's like the little boat I'm in this rocky ocean with, but I get dumped out and the choppy waters of transformation often. and then I'm, you know, just trying to get my head above water while I'm feeling judgment or frustration with other people. Got to get back in that boat, in the love boat. Love and acceptance. For myself, that's actually in alignment with my values and what I need. And when I'm in that place of judgment and anger and frustration, I'm sinking. And I want to lift myself so I can lift others. That's my personal mission and goal and intention during even this time of the agitation cycle. So anyway, just a few thoughts for you, and really my heart, from my heart to yours, I'm just inviting you to honor your journey by honoring the inner and letting yourself, as we are in this collective agitation cycle, let some of that stuff go, some of that what needs to be released in order for you, for all of us, to see a new possibility within ourselves and for each other and for the collective world we share. All right, sending you love and peace, my wish for all. And as we do our inner work, we can trust and know we'll find our way. And all will be well. All is well. And all will be well. All my love. Take good care of you until next time.